organize my life.
Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke, my pronouns are she, her, and today we're doing the end of year book tag. Questions by Ariel Bissett, who is a Canadian booktuber I will tag. I mean, if you haven't seen Ariel Bissett's videos, I mean, I'm putting her in the description. She's great. She is the person who picked the Goodreads challenge color this year. So I mean, famous. First of all, let me just say that I have so many books to read that it was like really tricky to just pick a few for these questions. Because honestly, like there's not that much time left in the year. There's about 3 weeks, tops, if that. And I need to hurry up if I'm gonna read all of these before the end of the year. First question. Are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? I mean, I started a few books this year. I started The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, and my friend, who I originally recommended this book to because I thought it was in her wheelhouse, loved it, read it. I was like, yeah, I really want to read this. She's going to just like at me for not finishing that book yet. I started it in February and I just put it down. I haven't picked it back up. Am I likely to pick it back up before the end of the year? I'm gonna say no. I also started Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, which my other best friend read, loved, has been kind of like nudging me to hurry up and read it also. I was enjoying it, but there were other things I wanted to read more, and am I going to read that before the end of the year? No. The only one I have started that I'm likely to finish before the end of the year is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I just was not feeling this while I was reading it originally, and other things came in that I wanted to read more, so I started reading those and didn't get back to this yet. However, it seems like all things I really enjoy. It just seems like right in my wheelhouse, like something I would super enjoy. So I really want to finish this year because I've heard that the other books in this series are like phenomenal. So I have to get through the first one in order to read the others though. So next question, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I have a couple options for this. I was thinking If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. It feels autumnal, like it's a bunch of Shakespeare actors. And for some reason I go, Shakespeare actors, autumnal. It's about theater students and murder, so for some reason that feels autumnal to me. And this might be a good sort of autumnal transition book into winter. A winter of discontent, perhaps. 'Tis, what is the line? God, what kind of actor am I? I can't even quote Shakespeare properly. Now is the winter of our discontent. Dang it. Shakespeare transitioning into winter? That's my thought process anyway. I don't know if it's right. The other option I have is a non-fiction. I say the other, there are like 3. The second option I have is a non-fiction by Canadian author Essie Adugin, who wrote Washington Black. This is called Out of the Sun on Race and Storytelling. This really appealed to me because I have a love of storytelling as an actor and an avid book reader, and this talks about like racism and Black history and the Black experience through art in its many different forms, in storytelling's many different forms. And I don't know why it feels like a good autumnal transition book, but that's the vibe I'm getting. That's what my heart is telling me, and it's one I really want to read, so maybe we should read this. It's also quite short. I feel like it would be a good one. And the last option I have is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I've been terrified to read this book because the hype surrounding it is just intimidating as heck. And I just like think about that hype and I cannot pick up this book. However, I really want to read it. The more I talk about it at work, the more I recommend it to customers as something that's really popular, the more I talk about what it's about, I go, No, I do in fact want to read this. I just have to muster up the courage to actually open it and read it. Brains are bizarre things, aren't they? This just feels like a good autumnal book as well. I can't give you any specific reason as to why. It's just the feeling that I'm getting. It's my gut feeling. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? No, all of the new releases that I have been waiting for have come out this year, and the ones I am waiting for now come out next year. I only really just started reading again in the past year or so, so I didn't have too many new releases that I was anticipating because I feel like I'm playing catch up on all the old releases that I haven't read yet. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? I mean, I have a few. I'm currently in the middle of Legendborn by Tracy Deonn and very thoroughly enjoying it. I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and the second one comes out sometime next year. So I'm gonna finish that hopefully in the next couple of days. Very exciting. Stalking Jack the Ripper, to bring that back. I'd like to read that before the end of the year. I have some holiday books that I'd like to read before the end of the year, but this one, I don't know if it's a new release or not. I'm not sure when it came out, but me and my coworker both picked it up unknowing that the other also picked it up, so we're gonna buddy read this a little bit. It's called The Christmas Bookshop by Jenny Colgan. Since we both work at a bookshop and it's Christmas time, we were like, yeah, let's do it. That was really the whole reasoning behind buying this book. That was it. It's a general fiction book about a woman who loses her job at her department store and she's kind of strapped for cash, so she moves in with her sister, which neither of them want, and she takes a job helping a man revitalize his old bookshop, which intrigues her more than she thinks it will. There she meets an author who takes a sudden interest in the bookshop and in her as well. I feel like it's gonna give me Hallmark movie vibes, but that's okay, because what more do you want at Christmas than Hallmark movie vibes? So I feel like this is gonna be like a little bookshop Christmas romance, and me and my coworker are both here for it, so we want to read this before the end of the year, before Christmas really. That gives me like a week and a half. I should really prioritize this. I also really want to start Outlander, my poor beat up copy. Please ignore. I pulled it from a storage locker and a mouse decided to make a bed with it. I just recently got the Outlander series, this like giant book stack, which I feel like I'm taking a risk in having it that high. Most of these mass market paperbacks are this series, so I found a lot of them at a secondhand bookshop, and then I bought the rest that I didn't have at a small local bookshop. And so I would love to get into this series before the end of the year, even if I just read the first one. I love the TV show and the books are always better. Pretty much everything I've named in this video so far I would love to read before the end of the year, but also I have to work. If I could spend all of my time just reading, I could probably do it, but it's Christmas season, it's busy at work. I read pretty much every other chance that I get. We're gonna try to read as many books as possible before the end of the year is out. And the last question, oh no, just kidding. There's 2 more. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I'm gonna go with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I've been terrified because of the hype, but I have a feeling that I'm really going to enjoy it once I start it. I think I'm just scared that it's not going to live up to the hype. I've been putting it off, but I feel like once I start reading it, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, why did I ever wait so long? It's so good. Or it could just not live up to the hype. I won't know until I just bite the bullet and read it. This is the one I think might get me. And now the final question, have you already started making reading plans for next year? I have some new releases that are coming out next year that I'm super excited to read, and I'm sort of like planning out rereads around that. For example, the 4th From Blood and Ash book comes out in March, so I'm kind of debating rereading the first 3 before the new one comes out. The other thing I have to think about though is I start a critical reading course in January, and so I'm gonna be in school for 3 months, and I'm probably going to have literary reading to do, and it might kill my for fun reading vibe, or I just like might be too busy to read much in the first bit of the year, but I don't know. Like I don't know like what the reading commitment is for this course. I assume it's like a fairly big commitment considering the course is literally critical reading, but you never know. I think it's like, they said it was like 10 to 15 hours of study per week, which is like a part-time job. So between that and my actual part-time job, I'm really not sure how much time I'm going to have to read. So I've been trying to think like what I want to set my reading challenge, my reading goal to. Like this year I had 100 books and I made 100 books. I was ahead of my goal all year, but we also went into lockdown like twice last year and I had nothing else to do with my time but read all day every day for weeks on end, and so I was ahead all year. Is that gonna happen again? I don't know. So I'm like, do I want to set my goal to 100 again, or do I want to do like 50, 75? Do I want to go easy on myself? Do I want to challenge myself? Like, I don't know. I'm leaning to 100 because I feel like I'm competitive, and also I want to one-up myself every time. Like if I can do better every time I do something, that is the goal. So I feel like I'm probably just going to set it at 100. That's probably exactly what I'm gonna do, and I'm just beating around the bush. Other than that, like, I have a whack ton of books that I own that I would love to get to, because book buying and book reading, two different habits. One I spend more time on than the other. I would say I have like over 50 books currently in my possession. It's probably getting close to 100 that I have not read yet. I have lots to read. The biggest reading plan is to try and get through the books that I already own, and next year I am planning to do a lot of saving because in 2023 I have some tentative life plans that I need to save for. I really can't overspend like I have this year, especially on books. I just have no willpower. And it's a problem. If I can just like really focus on reading the books that I already own, everyone and everything will thank me. So that's the plan. Those are my reading plans for next year. That's it, I think. I can't believe the year's almost over. As long as it has seemed, it's also gone by wickedly fast. Like I swear that yesterday was October and now Christmas is like 2 weeks away. But anyways, that is that. Thank you so much for watching. If you've read any of these books, like, please let me know what you thought because I would love to know. Stay as long as you like. I will see you next time. Bye! Why do I always do this? A little grabby wave. Like, I don't know. Okay, I'm leaving now. See ya!